Hi, hello, vanakkam. This is Vialli Jacob, your motivational trainer and a coach. Welcome to my channel. This channel is all about motivational talks and life skills. And if you are watching this video without subscribing to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get all the notifications every time I post a video. Today's topic is very interesting and it's a very innovative way of sending across good messages. And this is one of the most famous training methods that trainers like me use across the world. Yes. Today's training is mainly based on a movie. And the movie that we have chosen today is The Pursuit of Happyness. Watch this video until the end to understand the nuances of this movie and what this movie could teach each and every one of us to be a successful person. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. This movie is about Chris Gardner, a common man who strives to take up an unpaid internship at a brokerage company. Well, his wife has left him because he's broke and he's now taking care of his little son. And this is not just a story, this is a true story inspired from true events. And the real Mr. Chris Gardner is today a very famous businessman. In the beginning of the movie, we find Will Smith, who plays the role of Chris Gardner, constantly trying to sell a medical equipment to a clinic or to various hospitals because he has invested all his money in those equipments and he is now totally broke. And because of this reason, his wife leaves him and he is now left with his child. So what we can learn from Chris Gardner here is that we have to have the grit to keep trying. He knows that it is very difficult for him to sell one of those equipments. But he still strives because if he sells one instrument, he could eat at least for a week. So that constant grit, that attitude towards trying should never die within you. Sacrifice. Yes, most of us think twice, thrice, 100 times before sacrificing anything. But in this movie, we find that Chris Gardner sacrifices his sleep, his cot, his bed, everything for the sake of his son. The next thing that we could learn from Chris Gardner is how to fight your inner demons. There is a scene where the landlord chases away Will Smith and his son because they haven't paid the rent for many months. And Will Smith is so angry that he kicks the door and he goes out, but they have no place to stay. And in order not to transfer that pain, that agony, that fearfulness to his son, he makes it a point to be as jovial as possible, and he takes him on the tram, he takes him on the metro, and he finally takes him inside a closed cabinet. And inside that cabinet we find that the little son is afraid. He is afraid of the dark, he is afraid of that place. Chris Gardner, in order to fight his own inner demons, he constructs a story where there are dinosaurs coming to eat them and where there are predators around them. So he tells the story to his son in a very dramatic way so that his son understands that there is danger outside, there is danger lurking outside. So he remains calm and he goes to sleep with his father. See how beautifully Chris Gardner's mind works. He just turned his inner demon into the simplest of stories and he told it to his son, and that made a wonder. Another thing that we could learn from Chris Gardner is how to grab hold of any opportunity that comes to you. Yes, in this movie we find that Chris Gardner one fine day sees an advertisement for the post of an intern at a brokerage company. Well, he applies to that because Chris Gardner, he believes in his mind and he has confidence that he is a very good seller. And the major thing that any brokerage company would want is a selling attitude. So Chris Gardner applies for this job, he attends the interview, and he gets selected to be an intern, but there is a twist. He will not get paid during his time as an intern. And in spite of this, Chris Gardner, he gambles with his thoughts and he makes a decision then and there and he says yes, he will take up that job as an intern. The next thing that we learn from Chris Gardner is being at your best at all times. Both your physical and mental appearance should be crystal clear. In this movie, we find that Chris Gardner is always well groomed with a suit. Although he has that one suit, he washes it over and over again. He polishes his shoes and makes sure that he looks spick and span. And he also proves to the owners of the brokerage that he's got a very clear mind. As we already saw, when Chris Gardner goes to the interview, he doesn't have the suit because he would have been busy painting the house, and that's when he gets a call from this brokerage to come out for an interview then and there. So Chris Gardner literally leaves everything and he runs to the brokerage company to get that job as an intern. Being skillful is very important when it comes to work. Yes, my dear friends, we need to be skillful. We need to keep our skills sharpened always. If we have learned something 10 years ago and deny to update ourselves or update the things that we have learned, then we are definitely a fool. Yes, there should be a constant sharpening of your skills. So, in this movie, Chris Gardner proves it to us. He constantly learns and reads about what brokerage is all about and how to sell. Although he has the mindset of a good seller, he updates himself by reading a lot and appears for the final test and he clears it. How's that for confidence? The next thing that we learn from Chris Gardner is networking. All the brokers were given a list of candidates to whom they were supposed to make cold calls. And they had to go in a specific order. But Chris Gardner broke that. He said to himself that he's going to go from down below. And that's how he manages to go and meet this gentleman with whom he signs a deal. Chris Gardner is an amazing human being. All he had was $1. All he had was $1 in his pocket. And when the owner of the brokerage gets out of the taxi, he needs $1 to tip the driver. And he reaches out to Chris Gardner, who is crossing him, and he asks him, "Hey, Chris, can I have $1? And Chris thinks for a while and then he gives it. Even though he doesn't have enough, he gave to the other person the moment he asked for it. What a wonderful human being he was. And finally, we learn how to appreciate happiness. Then comes the day where the results are out and Chris Gardner is called into the cabin of the owners and they all compliment him for the way he's dressed, knowing that it could be the first day of his job or the last day of his job. And finally, when it is revealed to him that he has got the job, then you must see the happiness on his face. A man with so much pain, so much discomfort, but he made it a point that he overcame all those by using his skills, his confidence, his grit, his perseverance, the way he moved towards things. Yes, those are the amazing characteristics of Chris Gardner. And hats off to him for his amazing character and being an example today to many people. And this movie by far is my favorite movie ever. If you haven't watched this movie yet, please do go ahead and watch this movie. And let me see if I find a link to this movie somewhere. I will just put it down in my description. But if you haven't watched this movie, do watch it and relate to each and everything that I have said and learn from it. So if you have been watching this video till now, I hope you have learned something new and I hope you have learned something interesting as well. Looking forward to meeting you with yet another wonderful training session. This is Vijay signing off for now. Love you.